Welcome back to the Fish Locker Workshop. I'm going to really quickly go through with you tying an eye splice. I was just knocking this up for the boat and I thought I'll make a video of that to show you. Now I use eye splices for quite a few things. This is a splice, and it's a way of feeding the rope back inside itself rather than tying a knot. And this is an eye, so it's an eye splice. It's really easy to make, and I use it for all sorts. I mean, this in itself, it's just a short end of about maybe 4 foot. It's a piece of rope that I keep to hand at most times when like mooring up, or like if I'm coming alongside a pier to pick someone up and drop someone off. These are perfect because all you do is you'll just take the eye, loop it over a cleat and hold onto the rope. Or if you want to tie up against something else and you need a knot, all you do really quickly is you take your eye, put the end through, and there, and it'll hold. Quicker than tying any knots or anything like that. And also, if you've got a finite length, I mean, this was only a 5 foot piece. Tying a ball in the end of there, you'd lose 6 to 8 inches of rope inside the knot, whereas this, you don't really lose any. Also, on my fenders on the boat, I have them tied up onto splices rather than knots, because you can tie a knot onto a fender like that, and eventually it will come tight like that. You'll never get it undone. The rope will wear away, and I'll have to cut this. Whereas if I've tied a splice like that, an eye splice, not only has it got the ability to move, so it doesn't wear out on the rope, it's nice and streamlined, so there's no knot to get caught on things. And it's stronger. If you moor your boat up the same way or the same side in the same place every time, instead of having ropes that you tie, I do have ropes that have got splices in that are certain lengths. So all I do is I'll have them made off to a cleat like that, with like this much, and all I do is when I come alongside, it's looped over a cleat. It saves loads of time. A little bit of extra time tying one of these will save you loads of time in the long run. I'm going to show you tying it with 3-strand rope. You can tie it with more, it's just slightly more complicated. When you're tying it in something harder like this, you might need a screwdriver to get in at the plies. The ropes will either be right hand lay, left hand lay, it doesn't really matter. The theory is the same every time. If you're using, I'm going to show you with this light polypropylene just because it's easier for the video. Look, you can get into this just with your fingers. I tied that just with my fingers. All you really need is the rope, some tape and a knife. If you want to go really professional, you can buy something called a fid, which is a tool that you use to open the rope up, but a screwdriver works just as well. Here's another tip that I usually use, is when I'm cutting a rope, I'll just cut a little section off here. If you're just going to cut a rope and you cut it just like that, frayed ends, and it comes apart, no, that's not the way that I would do it. If you get some tape and wrap the tape around the rope, keeping it nice and tight. I've got my little helper sweeping the workshop for me. Wrap it up in a piece of tape where you want to cut it, nice and tight, and then cut on the tape. I'm trying to be careful not to cut into my worktop. Loads neater. See, it hasn't come apart. What's better? Always drives me nuts when people do that. Like this here, tying a knot on the end and letting the rope unravel. Absolutely drives me wild. Anyway, I digress. If you're going to be tying a splice, however big the eye is, like that, the rope that you're tying into it wants to be that same length. So if that is that long, that wants to be that long, if that makes sense. See that? First thing, wrap some tape around here. This is how far I'm going to unravel it.
See, this is the piece of wind.
Yeah.
Yeah. That depends warm. That depends warm. And green.
Right. Now each of these 3 strands, the way that the rope is made, is it's twisted round each other. So all you need to do is untwist it, like that. Now I'm going to tape all these ends up. Right, there look, I've unravelled it to where my tape is, and I've used 3 different colours to try and help so you can see the difference of which one's which. And I'm going to really quickly show you how to make it into a splice. Right, first thing, that is how long I want my eye to be. So you just take the rope and open it up like that. You're going to take 2 of these. I want to take the black and the white, and you just feed them through like that. And then pull them tight. You see how they're now tight into that other piece of rope. Now the pattern that you're going to do, it's dead simple. It's over 1, under 1. You see this red one's left? It's going to go over this one, under that one. So you just open it up and it goes through like that. Now the first lay is going to be a little bit loose. You need to get a couple of stretches in and then you can tighten the whole knot up. But like this one, the black one, over 1, so over this one, under that one. Over 1, under 1. That's all you need to do. You just need to carry that on all the way through. This white one, over 1, under 1. My little assistant's singing me a song in the background. I don't know if you can hear him. Look, now you've got a couple of layers in. Just give it each one a little pull that tightens it all together, and you just carry that pattern all the way along. So over 1, under 1. Over 1, under 1. It really is that simple. Over 1, under 1. All I keep doing is I just keep turning the rope over, and the next one I come to, over 1, under 1. Over 1, under 1. Eventually you will get down to the end. If you wanted to, you could stagger these in. You could make these 3 different lengths, so you lose one and then you get another layer, and then you lose one and you get another layer, rather than having all 3 sticking out in the same place like that. You can generally tell if it's worked because it will be a nice pattern like that. And just give it a good pull to bed in. There you go. Just like that. Perfect eye splice. Now if you were going to use this for like an anchor rope and you're going to have a shackle or something in here like I've got, you can put a solid eye in there, which is like a plastic eye, and all you do is you just tie this around it so it fits in there. Because that, if you were going to use that for like a chain or something, eventually with something rubbing in it like that, it would rub through there. But that will never come undone. There you go, eye splice.